before Amazon existed, before anyone had ever heard the words next day delivery. There was a company that had already figured it out. A company where you could flip through a catalog at home, pick out anything from a wrench to an entire house, mail in your order, and have it delivered to your door. That company was Sears. And it wasn't a scrappy startup at its peak. It was the largest retailer on earth, doing business with 1 out of every 3 American households. Today, Sears has fewer than 10 stores left standing. The company that basically invented the model Amazon would later use to become the most valuable retailer in the world couldn't survive to see Amazon's rise. This is the story of how that happened. Sears began in 1893 as a mail-order catalog business, and the idea behind it was almost radical for its time. Give rural Americans, people who didn't live anywhere near a big city store, access to the same products city dwellers could buy. The Sears catalog became known as the consumer's Bible. You could order clothes, tools, furniture, appliances, even entire mail-order houses, shipped in pieces and assembled on site. Tens of thousands of homes across America were literally built from a Sears catalog order. In the 20th century, Sears expanded into physical retail stores, and it grew into an absolute giant at its height. Sears stores anchored shopping malls across the entire country. It owned Craftsman tools, Kenmore appliances. Allstate Insurance was even born inside Sears. It wasn't just a store. It was a piece of infrastructure in American life. For decades, if you needed almost anything, the answer was the same: go to Sears or order from the catalog. By the 1980s and 90s, cracks were starting to show. Discount retailers like Walmart and Target were undercutting Sears on price, offering the same everyday items for less, in stores that were often more convenient to reach. Sears tried to respond, but its identity had become muddled. Was it a place for tools and appliances, clothing, insurance, financial services? The company had spread itself across so many businesses that it struggled to be excellent at any one of them, while competitors sharpened their focus. Then in 2005, Sears merged with Kmart in a deal orchestrated by hedge fund manager Eddie Lampert. On paper, it looked like a bold consolidation play. In practice, many analysts and former employees would later describe it as a financial engineering exercise. Lampert was more focused on cutting costs and extracting real estate value than reinvesting in the stores themselves. Store maintenance was deferred. Marketing budgets shrank. Employee morale, by many internal accounts, collapsed. The stores that had once been aspirational shopping destinations started to feel neglected. Dim lighting, empty shelves, outdated fixtures. Here's the part of this story that stings the most. Sears had every advantage to dominate online retail before anyone else. It already had the exact infrastructure e-commerce would eventually need: massive distribution centers, an established catalog and delivery culture, and a customer base that already trusted ordering from home instead of visiting a store in person. Amazon, when it started in 1994, was just an online bookstore with no physical stores at all. Sears had literally already solved the hardest part of what Amazon would spend the next 2 decades building. But instead of investing seriously in e-commerce, Sears leadership stayed focused on its physical retail stores and financial restructuring. By the time Sears tried to seriously compete online, Amazon had already built a massive head start in logistics, customer trust, and sheer scale. The company that invented catalog shopping, the direct ancestor of e-commerce itself, watched a bookstore with no stores at all become the most dominant retailer on the planet. Through the 2010s, the decline accelerated. Store after store closed. Sears sold off its most valuable brands. Craftsman was sold to Stanley Black and Decker in 2017. Real estate holdings were spun off and sold, often to entities connected to Lampert himself, drawing criticism that the company's remaining value was being stripped out rather than reinvested. Employees described walking through stores that felt more like liquidation sales than functioning retail. Locations, broken escalators, left unrepaired. Entire departments quietly shut down. Shelves half empty because vendors had stopped extending credit to a company that increasingly couldn't pay its bills on time. In October 2018, Sears Holdings filed for bankruptcy. At the time of filing, the company still operated roughly 700 stores and employed around 68,000 people. Within a few years, that number would collapse to a small handful of locations. The largest retailer in the world had become a cautionary tale, not because nobody saw the internet coming, but because the company that arguably should have built it chose to protect what it already had instead. It's tempting to frame Sears as a company that simply failed to see the future coming, but that's not quite right. Sears saw the future clearly. It had literally built an early version of it a century earlier. What it lacked wasn't vision. It was the willingness to reinvest in that vision once it stopped being the safest, most profitable choice in the short term. Blockbuster protected its stores. Kodak protected its film business. Sears protected its physical retail identity and its short-term financials, even while sitting on the exact blueprint for what would eventually replace it. The pattern across all of these stories is starting to look familiar. It's rarely that a company doesn't see disruption coming. It's that seeing it and acting on it are two very different things, and acting usually means being willing to hurt your own most profitable business on purpose before someone else does it for you. Sears isn't the last company we'll cover that had the blueprint for its own future and chose not to build it. Subscribe to see which one's next. This is a series about the moments that changed everything.